Hey guys, this is Brian Sykes with AdJourney and JumpStart-U. What I'm going to do is a critique, and the critique this morning is for Dennis Long. So as you're looking here, Dennis Long, he's the owner and chief financial officer for Next Day Access in Wilmington. So Dennis, thank you for the opportunity. What I want to do is actually jump right into the Next Day Access Wilmington Facebook page. Now, I understand that Next Day Access is a service organization with multiple locations, and so what I'm looking at primarily is just going to be the Wilmington side, because that's what you guys have control over. I don't want to break into the Next Day Access elements as far as logo and design and those kind of things. I really want to look at the communication that you guys are doing. So I'm going to scroll down, and I'll start with what I see when I first come to this page. Now, not everybody is going to come here, obviously. This is one of the goals that you look for in business when you're posting on Facebook, is to get them to engage with your post. So you want your communication to be in such a way that you're drawing them. And so if they happen to come to this page, here's what they're seeing. And Next Day Access Wilmington makes sense. You're able to define right away within your header and your communication where the location's facility is. That's fine. One thing I have trouble with sometimes is when you use a term to a specific city. If that's the only area you serve, great. I worked with several clients in the past and currently that have a hyper-local engagement just within a county, and that's fine. If your business is outside of the area, or the name of your business sequesters you in mind to a specific location, but that location doesn't have a specific draw, then you want to change that. And here's an example. One of my clients was Seven Lakes Tile, and we ended up changing the name to Barron Tile and Stone. The reason is because Seven Lakes at the time, while a beautiful location to live, was not a destination location. So there was nothing about that name that really resonated with people outside of the community. That being said, Next Day Access Wilmington is sufficient if your primary business area is Wilmington. I'm going to scroll down. The first thing that you see when you're seeing this is the pinned post. Now, pinned posts are fantastic because it allows you to place on the top of the page information that's key and pertinent to the people that you're trying to reach. This information is all great, and here's the problem that you run into with the pinned post. Whenever you pin a post, it's going to show dated information. So the first thing I'm noticing is, remember, this is 2021. As I'm posting this, it says September 1st, 2019. What that tells me as a consumer when I come across something like this is it makes it feel like you're not very active and you're not very engaged. Is this still the same people who's running the business? Is this still the same things they do? So I'd recommend, if this is a core piece of information that you want to convey, then update it regularly, maybe at least once a year, so that your date is showing something fresh, something frequent and recent. That's an important piece. If this is all the exact same thing, why not copy paste your content, update your images, and have something fresh? Otherwise, I'm looking at things that feel dated and aged, and it seems almost obsolete. Keep it going, keep it moving. I do like your opening image. The black shirts against the wood background is great. Guys, whenever you're shooting pictures, it's a good idea to think of your lighting, think of how things look in relation to the positioning of the image. Profile shots are fine. And do something that feels natural, that looks right and fits you. Here's another thing that happens when you've got dated images on the front of your document, is the commenting. Now, here's the thing. Whenever somebody comments on your post, comment back. It multiplies your comments, but also what it does is it shows that you're engaged. As I'm looking through this, the post was done by Next Day Access Wilmington, but you look and nothing down below says Next Day Access Wilmington. In other words, you guys aren't engaging with the content. This can have a negative impact on your business, because people kind of realize I'm communicating and engaging, but I'm not doing anything. Now, you might be doing this privately. You might know these people and engage with them off the site, but the people who come to your site aren't seeing that. So what they're seeing is a whole bunch of people ask questions or make comments, and you guys aren't going to be engaged. Take the time to do those little things that will mean so much to those who are coming to your site. So make sure that with each of these things, like if it says how much for a ramp from Cheryl Smith, and you don't want to give that information on the site, then come up with a compelling answer that says, hey Cheryl, thanks so much for reaching out and asking us about the pricing of our ramps. We will private message you to find out the needs that you're trying to address. That way you can personalize the engagement, and you're able to kind of get some feedback taking place on the site, and people know the process by which you do your work. I'm going to scroll on down. I notice when you have next day access, this is coming from the corporate level. This is just their posting, and they've got some interesting things that they're doing. But what I'm interested in is when you guys are posting. So August 20th, so that was only a few days ago. Here's a post from you guys, and let's actually read through this and look at the copy. Permanently disabled injured worker has a bathroom in his home made safer. Ensure the most visited room in your house is accessible. Okay, there's a couple things that I like and a few things that I would tweak. First is your call to action is kind of on the tail end of this, of ensure the most visited room in your house is accessible. I think that's great. Now what? How do they do that? And this is where you want to actually tell them the next step to take. So I understand by reading this and looking on the side, bathroom remodel, next day access, but if I didn't know who next day access was, I can look at the pictures and kind of come to some conclusions. But rather than make the people do all the work on the conclusions, why not engage them as though when they see this post from you, this is the only bit of information they're going to have to draw on. In that case, what you might want to do is send them to a link, or say, to learn more about how we can do this for you, call us today, get in touch with us. And as I'm looking at this post, there's nothing on here that has a way for people to take that next step. We can like it, we can comment, we can share. There's been 3 shares, but as far as there's no phone number listed in this posting, there's no link address that's taking me anywhere. And the hashtags, that's a whole nother game to kind of play with. With hashtags, you want to try to find the terms that are grabbing some traction. Now, when you're dealing with accessibility, there's a lot of terms that are popular, that are gaining some traction, that have regular frequency of visits. Find out what those are and make sure you're including those. You can have, on Instagram, you can have up to 30, and it's perfectly fine to have search terms as hashtag items. Those are great. So we want to increase the number of hashtags that you have here. But again, going back, you need a call to action. You need a way for people to know what steps they can take in order to get you. And you want to tell them specifically what it is you do. Now, I like that this is short and simple, but the short and simple isn't telling me anything. Let's start with the opening sentence. Permanently disabled injured worker has a bathroom in his home made safer. Okay. Is this a story coming from you guys provided this service, or just a random person out there in the ethos who is a permanently injured worker and he just happened to get his bathroom remodeled? Okay, think about this. We need to engage the people on the other side, and we want to tell the story as a story. What were the complications he was running into in order to try to find the solution, and how was it that you were the ones that provided the solution, and what solution did you actually provide? This is where you have a chance to tell the story and explain what it is actually was done and why it's valuable. You're leaving a lot of things up to people to guess or figure out on their own. So give them the information, make it pertinent. Visually, I like the color combination. The deep blue, kind of a navy blue with the neon green. It's a fantastic color set. It works well. Your images are kind of compelling and engaging. I don't have a problem with those. But if we're going to feature images kind of like you've got here, why not have callouts? What is it that you actually did to the bathroom? As I'm looking at this, I see the pull bars that allow for convenience. I see the shower with a short wall for easy access, but why not feature those things? What if you created a series of 10 images, right, or 5 images? You got 4 right now. Maybe this is your opening image. You could have an arrow that takes you to a series of images that follow, and you feature each of these things. You pull this image up and you explain how you guys added a pull bar, you've got a fold down seat. Define the things that people are seeing so they understand, oh, okay, this is what you guys can actually provide. So I'm spending a lot of time here, but the reason is because you need to make this work for the people that you're trying to talk to. You want to engage them and you want to tell a story that makes them go, okay, this is what Next Day Access Wilmington can do for me. So you're answering the question that's in everybody's mind of what's in it for me, and you need to know right away how you're going to solve their problem. Let's take a look at one more, and I'm scrolling it down until I see Next Day Access Wilmington. And so here's another one. This is August 13th, so it looks like you're doing about one a week. It says extend the enjoyment of your home by making it safe and accessible. Okay. Who are we talking to? Well, typically when you're showing a wheelchair ramp, the obvious is that you're dealing with someone who's got a mobility issue, so they're in need of a wheelchair ramp. One of the terms you've got in your thing is age in place, which is really good. I'm good friends with a guy that's an age in place instructor and written the book on it. There's opportunities here where we can really leverage this and grow your business in that community by defining how you're going to do this and what this is, what it means. Stay in your home longer and safer. Good terminology, because you're talking about making it safe, making it accessible, and what is the reason for doing those things? Well, it's so that people can have a longer engagement with the side of having freedom of mobility, freedom to remain in place. And why? Why is that important? I think those are some areas that you really want to take a minute and address. Your copy is great. It's like your opening copy on this is extend the enjoyment of your home by making it safe and accessible. That is a great opening line or a headline statement. Stay in your home longer and safer. Fantastic. I do like that you included a phone number here on your post itself. Be sure and include that in your copy. But take a paragraph or two and talk to the people in a compelling way. Answer some questions that they're going to have, like, who are we talking to? What is it that you're actually going to do for these people that's going to help them? And explain the process. Okay, so I'm interested, what's going to happen next? Make your communication accessible the same way that you're talking about making accessible in the sense of for your target audience. What is the next step and how do they do this thing? And we'll just scroll down and take a look in anything else. All right, August 12th, Next Day Access Wilmington. A different color set. Bathrooms can be both stylish and safe. Okay, and so here we're showing some tile and some design elements with the seat, the pull bars and things. And so this is kind of nice. It allows people to know that you're not limited to creating a sterile, medicinal kind of look to your bathroom decor. So I think this can be a valuable piece. I think, again, it's going back to we need to give them more. I do like that you do have the phone number here. That's important. That's valuable. But let's fill in the information of what else we're trying to say. Again, we're filling in the blanks by showing them a few things. That's good. But let's take this a whole nother step further. Let's give them some information and let's tell a story. Let's engage them. Story is the thing that really creates a common thread and pulls people along so they can see themselves in a situation. While these solitary images with multiple post images are okay, if you really want to make this draw, Facebook allows you, Facebook and Instagram and other channels allow you to create multiple images in a series. So you could easily do that. And I'd even recommend, if you want to really draw people, you can also look at doing a Canva style image set where you can have a series of images that have a common look and feel. You can create a video with a walkthrough. And videos are very, very compelling because you can put people in a space and move them around in it, and kind of create a story in that presentation. Anyway, I like what you're doing. I think you're lacking only because you're not giving more information. Think of each time you engage, you're not talking always to the 1,653 people who like your page. You're talking to them, but you're also talking to the people who happen across your post and are trying to find a solution. So let's talk to the collection and say, here's what we're trying to do, here's what we can provide, and here's how we can help you. I hope that works, and thanks again for allowing me the opportunity to give you a little bit of critique. For others that might be interested in looking for some help, we're AdJourney. JumpStart-U is our Facebook group, and it's our opportunity to try to help the community with better communication. You guys be blessed.